Hello, hola, assalamu alaikum, and konnichiwa. That was the door closing because of the wind. Anyway, as I was saying, let me introduce myself. My name's Wasim. I'm Jordanian, living in Madrid. I have been in Spain, not in Madrid, for a total of about a year and a half. Y puedo hablar español muy bien. That means I can speak very good Spanish. I'm also fluent in Arabic. بحكي عربي. I speak English and Spanish. When I moved to Spain, I did not speak a single word of Spanish. And to be honest, it was really challenging, even though I lived in two major cities, Barcelona and Madrid. Um, a lot of people spoke English in Barcelona and Madrid, but I'm a kind of person who likes to experience the culture when visiting a certain place or living in a certain place. I have lived in Dubai, I have lived in Jordan, Montreal, London, Barcelona, and now Madrid. Recently, I have taken an interest in Japanese culture and Japanese language. So I have decided to start learning Japanese, more or less the same way that I started learning Spanish, which was doing it on my own. Now, Japanese and Spanish and English are very different because basically English and Spanish they use the same alphabet. Arabic is my native language, so I never really had to learn it. I grew up with it, so I can read it, I can write it. It came naturally. English did as well because I learned it at a very very early age. Maybe I started learning English when I was like 3 or 4 and living in London, living in Montreal even though it was a French speaking city. I was still in Canada, so I was still always speaking English with my friends. I went to an American university in Jordan. I did my master's in London. So English was never really a problem. Spanish, however, was when I moved here. But then Spanish and English have so much in common, which is a lot of Latin words, um, the the alphabets again. So it wasn't really that challenging. I mean, once you get a grip of the Spanish language, it just kind of breaks down for you and you've got it in a day. I remember I was so intimidated when I first started listening to Spanish because I thought they were speaking so fast. And I was always wondering, why are Spanish speaking people always in a rush? They're always speaking fast. But then one day I woke up and then the language just slowed itself down. So, anyway, this blog here is about documenting my Japanese learning experience, which still hasn't started. And I don't want to say it hasn't started, it has started because I took the initiative to start learning. Well, I didn't really start yet, but we're gonna start together, and I hope you guys really benefit from my journey because I'm gonna try and document as much as possible, whether it's gonna be in the form of a blog or whether in a form of a video like this one. I'm gonna share with you tips. I'm gonna be looking for Japanese people in Madrid. I'm not gonna be taking lessons because I really want to do this on my own. I never took Spanish lessons when I came to Spain. I did a few italki here and there, but that was when I had a grip of the language and it was just to practice to get out of my comfort zone because I was a bit shy speaking with the locals and my friends here, which is the worst thing to do, by the way. Never be shy, always speak. And if someone makes fun of you, just laugh, have a sense of humor and take it as it is. Um, but yeah, anyway, what we're gonna do today, since I have decided, or we have decided to learn Japanese, I am going to look at what exactly we need to learn. I mean, I know that I want to study Japanese. I did a few research here and there, so I know they have three written alphabets or something like that. I'm not really sure. So let's get started. I am gonna go on Google, which is what I'm doing right now. So let's see. So basically, um, learning Japanese. Let's try and Google that and see what we get. There's a few blogs that I really trust which would be something like fluent in 3 months and something like that. So let's start with the basic and say learning Japanese fluent in 3 months. By the way, you guys, um, fluentin3months.com is a really great learning resource that I used to use a lot for Spanish because it was very inspirational to see someone who is able to speak so many languages. I think his name's Benny. Yes, Benny. I just opened the website. Um, I'm not sure if I can transfer the camera to my computer screen, but I don't think so. So you guys are stuck with my face. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, fluent in 3 months. Benny is an amazing guy. That guy speaks probably every language. And let's see what he says about Japanese. He says, okay, so here are the resources I consider essential to learn how to speak Japanese. So he has a guide and course called Master Japanese, and there are two apps. One of them that I'm familiar with, it's called Hello Talk. That is for a bit more advanced students. Hello Talk is basically an online chat community for people who want to practice languages together. So let's see, there's italki, which is a language learning website. I am not really finding what I'm looking for here, so I'm a little bit disappointed. So let's go back and see how to start learning Japanese. And let's see. So I'm gonna open the first website that I see, and let's see what it says. It's basically saying you need to have a clear goal, which is mandatory. Many people want to learn Japanese, but the first step to learning Japanese is to decide for yourself what learning Japanese means. Does it mean watching anime? Okay, so you guys, I want to tell you something. I want to learn Japanese mostly because of the culture. Because I would like to travel to Japan one day and experience the culture. And the best way to do that is by knowing the language, because you get to really embrace the culture, especially when you can read, when you can write, when you can interact with the people in their language. Lots of Japanese people speak English, I know that, but experiencing the culture in its native language is something that is very hard to experience when on normal basis, or if you don't really speak the language. And to be honest, I really think Japanese is a language that's going to help me develop mentally because it involves so much studying. I'm guessing it got rated, I think, one of the most difficult languages to learn. Grammar is completely different from what I've read before. So I'm really excited. And let's continue with the website. Unfortunately, a lot of people who want to learn Japanese have little experience in learning foreign languages. I wouldn't really say I would fit in that box. If you haven't learned a foreign language before, you don't really have an idea how difficult it is to learn a foreign language. Yes, I do. And what kind of problems you may encounter. Oh, believe me, I do. Messing up words. Most people give up in the early stages, so it's important to have realistic expectations at the outset. I would really agree with this point. You really need to not have high expectations and not put too much pressure on yourself. One of the reasons I think that it took me a while to really start speaking Spanish, even though I knew that I could speak Spanish, was because I never really saw myself as fluent. But then you don't really need to see yourself as fluent. No matter how perfect you are at the language, sometimes you're always going to have an accent. Even native people, sometimes they mess up with words. Um, some people lose words. So it's normal, and it's all a part of learning. Every mistake you make is something great, and it's an adventure. So let's continue. If you want to master Japanese, it will help a lot if you decide in advance just what it means to master the language. So basically, I want to be able to read, write, talk, obviously, and express myself. That is mastering a language Well, in my point, if you can read, write, and express yourself, then you don't really need to memorize 20,000 words. So let's continue. For example, it's much easier to measure your progress if your goal is I want to read the tale of Genji in the original than if your goal is I want to know everything. I don't really want to know everything, but I don't want to start off knowing everything. So specific goals allow you to measure your progress. Many students find measuring their progress one of their biggest motivators. So this blog is actually a motivator for me because I'm going to be documenting my progress and I'm going to be able to share it with people like you who's going to interact with me and who are going to give me feedback and tell me what you think I can do to make my studying better. So let's go. The road to fluency is long and difficult. Clear goals aren't everything, but they help a lot when they get lost. So this blog says that I need to take a class to start. So I'm not really, I really liked how the introduction, make Japanese friends. I'm gonna try and do that. Yes, I would say avoiding translation really does help. Learn the correct stroke. Okay, we're not even there. So let's see. How should a beginner learn Japanese? That is a question asked on Quora, and so it's gonna have answers from different people. So that is great. Let's see what they say. Japanese is one of the most beautiful language in the world. While learning Japanese, you have to concentrate on reading, writing, vocab, and grammar. Obviously, although Japanese language has over 2K characters, they are not hard to remember. Wow! So over 2,000 characters, and there are three types of writing systems in Japanese. So there is the hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And it does have some of the resources. So I'm just gonna copy, and there's actually an app. Yes, that is great. I like this. See, I like when people interact because we as humans learn from each other. So asking questions, receiving answers. It also says you should make flashcards for each character as they are really helpful for memorizing characters. So I can do that. I can learn about let's say about 20-30 words a day or characters a day or something like that, and I can use it in the metro. I can use it when I'm going out for a walk. I'm getting my dog on Thursday who happens to be a Japanese dog, an Akita Inu. So yes, pretty excited for that. I can do the flashcards while he's playing around at the park. Um, so let's see. You should make flashcards, many characters in kanji. So basically, kanji is a writing system that comes from Chinese. And some words, they actually use hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Katakana is for newly introduced words. So I'm guessing if like a word came from English, it would be written in katakana. So, yeah. While you're learning Japanese, you should try reading manga, Japanese comic books. That sounds like fun, actually, as they have basic and easy Japanese for kids. I learned all the hiragana characters in just 1 week using flashcards and video lessons from a website called JapanesePod101.com. So, guys, I'm gonna be writing down these websites in the blog, but I'm gonna be writing them when I check them out so I can give you good feedback. Or, you know what? I'll write them now. I'll write them in this blog so we can have everything, trials and errors. So, while you're learning Japanese, I learned, okay. So, cool. Basically, this is how we're gonna start. We're gonna give ourselves 1 week to learn the hiragana characters. The hiragana is a writing system in Japanese that is the most basic writing system. It's difficult. It's let me try and find a proper explanation of learning hiragana. Now, so this is the fun part about actually starting to learn a language is that you you look at the language and then there's so many aspects to it. Um, Three writing systems. I have never heard that in my entire life. I mean, I've heard of different dialects, formal, informal. In Spanish, for example, in Argentinian, they use vos. In Latin America or most Spanish speaking countries, they use ustedes. In Spanish, they use vosotros, for those of you who speak Spanish. So these things are kind of normal though in Latin languages because you get formal and informal. But Japanese, they have three different writing systems. So we're going to start with the most basic, which is hiragana. And hiragana is basically one sec. Okay, so learning the two Japanese phonetic alphabets, hiragana and katakana, are key to learning basic Japanese. Okay, so basically we need to learn hiragana and katakana, but we're gonna break it down. So we're gonna start with hiragana. Each hiragana character represents. Okay, so this is the really important part. Each hiragana character represents a single vowel or consonant vowel sound. Um, mm, there are five vowel sounds and they're combined with the consonant sound. So, for example, you don't get a letter like D or you don't get a letter like um, M. It's usually like followed by a vowel. So you get like ka or ta or na, which is cool. It's different, you know. It stimulates your brain, learning different accents, different languages. It's so much fun. The characters above are the ones you should teach yourself. So cool. Now that we have set ourselves a plan, I will be documenting my techniques about how I'm gonna learn the writing system of hiragana. I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video blog. I will definitely see you soon. Next video blog, I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to be talking to Japanese people later on. I'm going to be doing a lot of things that hopefully will encourage you to learn Japanese or whatever language you want as well. This is the thing. Listen, if you want to learn a language, there is no specific rule to learning a specific language. There are techniques, and you can implement them to any language that you're learning. I mean, hopefully, I will be able to reach a very, very acceptable level in Japanese. It would be a dream come true, especially since I'm not living there. It's going to be a harder challenge. So, Japanese is a language that is very connected to its culture. And it's harder. I don't want to say it's hard, but it's harder learning it if you're not in that culture. And I happen to be in a completely different culture. But that is not going to stop me. I am going to learn Japanese. I am going to learn how to write, read, and speak. And you guys are going to be learning from my techniques to implement what I'm doing in any language that you want to learn, whether it's Japanese, Chinese, Hindu, Greek, Spanish, German, all these techniques, you can use them for whatever language you want. So let's review what we did. We basically found out what Japanese language is. We found out interesting things about Japanese language. There are three writing systems. Um, they don't have consonants. All their consonants are followed by vowels. Again, so kind of like ma, and you don't have an M or na, or I'm guessing something like that. I still don't know. I still didn't start it, but from what I saw, this is it. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully. We will start our first lesson learning hiragana. Thank you very much. If you have any comments, please feel free to contact me. Let's make this a really adventurous blog for learning a new language. Learning a language is really lust for life. It's it really opens up your mind to so many different things. It helps adjust your personality. There's so many benefits. Even medically speaking, languages can even help with diseases such as prolonging Alzheimer. Um, I would highly encourage anyone, and it's never too late. I've met people who studied Spanish at 50, and there's anyone can do it. You guys, no one can stop you. No one is better than anyone. You're not bad at learning languages. You're giving yourself a hard time at learning languages because you set high expectations to yourself. So no, give yourself a plan, just like we did right now. So there's three writing systems. We're gonna start with hiragana. As soon as we finish hiragana and we have it memorized and we can write it, we can move on to katakana and see how that goes. And I'll see you guys later. I don't know how to say bye. I only know how to say konnichiwa, which is I'm guessing I think it's hello. But I'm not 100% sure actually. I know it's a form of greeting, but since I don't know how to say goodbye in Japanese, adios, ciao, goodbye, ma salama.